In this video, the day has finally come. A mainstream media outlet has written an article about Tesla that's almost entirely accurate. Instead of the usual, hey Tesla, you're doing it wrong. This article in a nutshell is, hey Tesla, you're doing it different, and that's okay. Maybe the tide is finally starting to turn. And before we get into it, if you'd like more content, check the links in the pinned comment, subscribe over on Twitter for exclusive videos and early access to my daily YouTube uploads, and or join Patreon for an archive of over 300 exclusive videos, my Tesla fair valuation, formerly known as price targets, and yes, just in case anyone hasn't heard, I'm still producing exclusive video content for Patreon, in addition to the new subscriber-only content on Twitter. I'm a very busy boy. Why Tesla keeps changing its prices, according to Bloomberg. The maker of the Model 3 and Model Y has a floating price strategy unique among car companies. It's being put to the test by rising interest rates and reduced demand. Now, before we get any further, I just wanted to emphasize something that Bloomberg said here. Referring to Tesla, they described one of Tesla's strategies as unique among car companies. This is Tesla in a nutshell. It ain't just their pricing strategy. Literally everything they do is different, unique among so-called car companies, and dare I say, better. This often confuses a lot of people who have "that's not how things are supposed to be" syndrome. That's supposed to fit in the box that I have for it, because that's one of those things. Therefore, if they do something different, it must be wrong. If I were to run down the list of things that Tesla does that are unique among car companies, I'd be here all fucking day. For example, I don't know too many other car companies who've just begun construction of a lithium refinery in the United States, nor any car companies that refuse to advertise because their products are so good they sell themselves, nor any car companies who are one of the world's leading artificial intelligence companies, nor any car companies who've developed their own battery cells. I'm going to stop now. Like I said, I'll be here all day. You get the point, right? Just about everything Tesla does is unique among supposed car companies. And when many of the so-called experts, those who've had themselves immersed in the automotive industry for years or decades, look at Tesla, they try to stick it in the "that's a car company" box, and anything that doesn't fit is either wrong or ignored entirely. Fatal error. Tesla has done seemingly non-stop tinkering with its prices this year, moving them lower in dramatic fashion only to occasionally bump them back up. What gives? By the way, guys, the reason we're going through this article today is just to see what are the mainstream media saying about Tesla's pricing strategy. Do they get it? And so far, this article is relatively promising. More often than not, in the mainstream media, Tesla prices go down equals no demand, sales are collapsing, Tesla's going bankrupt, the competition's coming, and so on. Let's continue. The techno king of Tesla, incorrectly referred to by Bloomberg as Chief Executive Officer, Elon Musk, has said he's willing to prioritize growth over profits, a stance that has made some investors wary and irked more than a few customers who bought before the discounts. Just a quick caveat here in terms of growth over profits. It's true over the short term, but again, we have to ask the question, what is Tesla's mission statement? A key word is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, meaning how can Tesla most quickly accelerate the world's transition? AKA, if Tesla can produce lots of vehicles, Tesla shouldn't be slowing down their production of vehicles. They should be scaling production as fast as possible and selling through vehicles as fast as possible, irrespective of pricing. That's their plan. And that being said, the real strategy here is FSD. More vehicles on roads means more vehicles collecting data, making Tesla's FSD software more capable, safer, better, ultimately solving autonomy. And then, with many millions of vehicles on roads, Tesla already has well in excess of 3 million vehicles on roads. When autonomy is solved in the future, there'll be millions more vehicles on roads. Many of these consumers who previously didn't opt for the FSD package due to its capabilities being limited, these customers may have been purchasing Tesla vehicles when Tesla was making a mere industry-leading 19% gross automotive margin. Some of those customers in the future will drop $15,000 to buy the FSD software package. Others will subscribe monthly, meaning that Tesla isn't actually going to be prioritizing growth over profits. They're prioritizing scale over short-term profits, but those profits will come. It is in Tesla's best interest to get vehicles on roads for two reasons. One, see their mission statement, and two, future autonomy. There are a number of factors at play here, and a lack of consensus as to whether it all amounts to disruption or desperation. Here's what you need to know. Tesla has a floating price strategy. For years, Tesla's cheapest car closely tracked the average amount US consumers were paying for new vehicles. Only $300 or so separated the starting price of the Model 3 and the industry's average transaction price. When the sedan went into production in 2017, Musk touted a $35,000 price tag that almost exactly mirrored the $34,944 average price paid for a new vehicle at the time. 5 years and a burst of inflation later, the Model 3 started at $46,990 as of early January versus the $47,681 average in the US. The secret to Tesla's $35,000 car pricing Model 3 closely tracked the average price for a new vehicle prior to 2023. In black here, the average selling price of a new vehicle. In green, the cheapest Model 3, and grey, the cheapest Model Y. This floating price strategy is unique among car companies and was made possible by Musk's rejection of 2-century-old traditions. Hey Elon, you're doing it wrong. Hey Elon, stop doing it wrong. Do it the way you're supposed to do it, Elon. You're doing it wrong. Sorry, I just heard an analyst in the background there. First, he eschewed the franchised stealership model, putting Tesla in control of the final price paid by customers. Second, he bucked the industry norm of setting prices at the start of each model year, then mostly keeping them static. Hey Elon, you're doing it wrong. Early this year though, the Model 3 began to bifurcate from average vehicle prices in dramatic fashion. Perhaps even more jarringly, the Model Y Sport utility vehicle went from a starting price almost $20,000 above the typical transaction price to one below the industry average. Tesla Model Y now costs less than the average new car. Starting prices for the top EVs fall to record lows against a US benchmark. What we're looking at here is the price differential between the Model 3 and the Model Y. When the Model Y was introduced, give or take roughly a $10,000 gap separating the two vehicles, but note what happened to prices on both models. As Model Y was introduced, prices came down a little bit early into production and then out of absolutely nowhere, rocketed higher. Now why would this happen? Why the huge price increases? A spoiler alert, way more people wanted to buy and were placing orders for a Model Y than Tesla could reasonably produce and deliver in a reasonable time frame. Their hand was forced. They had to increase the prices. Again, Elon Musk described Tesla's pricing at a point as embarrassing. The overall trend on the Model 3 once Model Y was introduced, Model 3 prices trending down fairly consistently to a point. However, Model Y prices started increasing and then absolutely surged within the span of 12 or so months. June 2022 versus February 2021, insane. Now, why would Tesla do this again? Well, it's not because they're greedy. They were again just trying to manage wait times for people ordering Model Ys. And of course, the narrative, every time a price went down, there's no demand, the competition's coming, Tesla's going bankrupt. And when the prices go up, Tesla's greedy. How dare they? You can't do that, Tesla. Aren't you supposed to make your vehicles cheaper? And as we can see, after the dramatic price declines, the big cuts on Model Y, late 2022, Model Y is now a little bit cheaper than it was when it first launched. Tesla continues to pass on cost savings and also adjust pricing based on order flow. If this were any other automotive manufacturer, we'd probably see a completely straight horizontal line for the pricing on both of these vehicles. Tesla doesn't play by the same rules. Musk has room to play offense. Contradictory as it may seem, Tesla is cutting its prices from a position of strength. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, is this Bloomberg? Did this really just happen? Is this real life? They're right. Bloomberg, a mainstream media outlet, got it right about Tesla pricing. Look, Tesla is cutting prices from a position of strength. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, I'm just impressed that this is in the mainstream media. They're right. And they're covering Tesla and they're a mainstream media outlet. I'm sure they'll explain this statement. But if not, I'm happy to jump in. With the exception of China's BYD, no automaker is anywhere close to producing as many electric cars as Tesla. The company's high production volume across just a handful of models means unmatched economies of scale. God damn. I'm really impressed. Bloomberg are actually getting it. And with manufacturing innovations ranging from single-piece vehicle structures to simpler batteries, Tesla has... Oh, Jesus Christ. This is a clean sweep. Tesla has been reducing costs. Again, Bloomberg are right. Every time I hear this discussion about prices coming down, the discussion about costs coming down seems to be absent, yet here we are. They've nailed it again. I should not be this impressed, but I am. Rivals such as Rivian and Lucid are far from breaking even, and the same can be said of Ford and other incumbents starting up their EV operations. Tesla is also sitting on a sizable cash cushion and paid down about $10 billion of debt over the past 3 years. Another important piece of the puzzle. I mean, I'm so impressed with Bloomberg, I'm speechless. Tesla's growing cash cushion. The car maker has reduced its debt, even while scaling production. Green, cash and cash equivalents, black, debt. Notice, by the way, at its peak, Tesla carried, call it $13 billion of debt if you want to be generous. Today, a couple of billion. Meanwhile, their cash has increased from approximately all back in 2015 to approximately a ton in 2022. Over $20 billion in cash and cash equivalents. If you want to do some homework, check out how much debt other automotive companies, legacy automotive manufacturers, are currently carrying. You might have a heart attack. Be warned. This puts Tesla in a situation where, in my opinion, they are essentially financially bulletproof. Tesla could literally stop producing vehicles at every one of its 4 factories currently operating for years and still have cash left over at the end of it. Of course, they won't stop producing vehicles at all of their facilities, but if they did, they'd still survive. The point here, it would take an incalculably improbable series of catastrophes to put Tesla at any existential risk anytime this decade. In contrast, Just about every one of the world's legacy automotive manufacturers today are drowning in debt, with a currently profitable business producing ICE vehicles whose sales and profits are about to collapse. This is not widely understood. Tesla is dealing with demand issues. Of course, high production capacity cuts both ways. It's great to have when the economy is humming and demand is strong, and not so good in times of turbulence. In the second half of last year, Tesla was making tens of thousands more vehicles than it delivered each quarter. Not this again. Blogs that aggregate the company's listings of vehicles online show that inventory continues to build. I knew Bloomberg had to go off the rails a bit at some point. The 15-day supply of vehicles in inventory that Tesla reported for the first quarter is relatively healthy by industry standards, but the way this figure has trended, it's at the highest since the start of the scamdemic, even after all the recent price cuts, isn't encouraging. One, Tesla explained a few quarters ago they were going to unwind their end of quarter delivery wave. We should expect the gap between production and deliveries to widen because production's going up and Tesla are no longer rushing and paying expedited shipping and delivery fees to get every vehicle to customers that produced that quarter. They told us this would happen. So the fact that this is trending in a direction that would be the logical outcome of Tesla doing what they said they were going to do by unwinding the delivery wave while scaling production isn't actually a problem. It's what to expect. Quote, Tesla is clearly transitioning from being supply constrained, where delivery volumes grow in line with production capacity and price increases, to being demand to being demand constrained, where prices fall to stimulate demand and production outpaces delivery. Tony Sacconaghi, a Bernstein analyst with a sell rating on the stock, wrote in a May 1st report. Words matter, and I think a lot of people seem to be confused as to what the term demand means. Call me a deluded Tesla fanboy, but just currently looking at the definition of demand, to insist on having, to require, need, to be sought after. I don't think you'll find a lack of people who want a Tesla, who need a Tesla, who seek a Tesla. It's not about demand. It's about actionable demand. In other words, we're talking about affordability, not demand. If you are a little bit confused about this, let me explain it. If Tesla were able to price their vehicles for $1 and sell them for $1 and make a profit selling their vehicles for $1, Tesla would sell a lot of vehicles. Tesla would have insane demand, quasi-infinite demand in fact, and people would be able to take action on that demand. Just because somebody wants something doesn't mean they can afford it. If they can afford it, they can buy it. This is the distinction. Just about every kid on Earth currently wants to drive a Tesla when they're allowed to, aka they're old enough. But until Tesla releases a more economical vehicle, there are many people who'd love to own a Tesla, hence demand, but they just can't afford it. This is very different from there being a lack of interest in Tesla's products, which is what we often hear when people suggest there is no demand. Now, I know this is semantics, but it's actually really important to understand. Hence, I continue to repeat, Tesla will sell every vehicle they make this decade. They won't be at today's prices. The prices will come down, so too will their costs, meaning Tesla can maintain industry-leading margins. But this is a very important distinction. If it ever gets to a point in the future where Tesla is offering a free blowjob with every vehicle, then you might start to worry maybe there's not really as much demand as we thought. They're having to add an extra incentive beyond the affordability barrier. I don't think we'll get to this point for a long time. For some strange reason, Tesla's humanoid robot just came to mind. Anyway, moving on. Tesla's supply surplus. Production has outpaced deliveries in the last 4 quarters, as we expected. Musk himself has sounded the alarm about the risk of a recession. During a Twitter Spaces conversation late last year, he called higher interest rates and lower demand for big-ticket items like cars a double whammy, and said the company faced a choice. Quote, do you want to grow unit volume, in which case you have to adjust prices downward, or do you want to grow at a lower rate, or steady, Musk asked rhetorically. My bias would be to say let's grow as fast as we can, hence their mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. I mean, duh. Could have told you that without Elon having to, it's in the mission statement. Hello, accelerate, keyword accelerate. If you're ever confused about anything Tesla's ever done, please refer to their mission statement. And if that doesn't make it clear, check out their master plans, the first, the second, and the third. My bias would be to say let's grow as fast as we can without putting the company at risk. Some more thoughts on this current recession / potential recession / interest rates through the roof / people can't afford their mortgages, lots of fear, uncertainty, doubt, and so on. The automotive market is very susceptible to current economic conditions. If people are fearful, they'll delay purchases of big ticket items. It doesn't mean the demand is gone. People still want that new vehicle. They've just decided, maybe now's not the time. I will still purchase this new vehicle, but I'm going to wait until I can see some light at the end of the tunnel. Very important to understand. Those who today were previously about to buy a big ticket item like a vehicle and are currently like, yeah, I'll wait. They're still going to buy a vehicle when they see the light at the end of the tunnel. That demand has not gone away. It just means it's pushed out into the future. This is another important distinction. There's so much discussion today.
Oh, Tesla reduced their prices. There's not as much demand for electric vehicles as we thought.
I mean, there are still folks today, automotive manufacturers, Wall Street stock analysts, finance media pundits, talking heads, everybody, who are under the impression that the signals we're getting today in the marketplace, with orders for electric vehicles, a slight slowdown, prices coming down to sell through production, are an indicator that the adoption of electric vehicles won't happen as fast as people previously thought, that the internal combustion engine vehicle will be here for longer. This couldn't be further from the case. And I'm just planting a flag now to revisit these comments in a few years' time. Dynamic pricing might be the new normal. While disgruntled Tesla owners swarmed... Oh God, this is so funny. While disgruntled Tesla owners swarmed showrooms in China early this year over price cuts, more on that in a moment, there haven't been clear signs of sustained anger with the company on the part of consumers. Now, I just want to send a message to the kind of people who would literally go and protest at an automotive manufacturer's showroom after having purchased one of their products, and then subsequently the company reduces the price to purchase that product. If you can afford to buy a Tesla, yet you're so fucking stupid, have no comprehension whatsoever of the value of your time, that you get butthurt because you purchased something and it's now available to other consumers for less than you paid for it, and your first thought is to trade some of your time, your life, which you can't get back. It is a non-renewable resource. You can get more money, you cannot get more time. If your first thought is to go and waste a few hours of your fucking life you can't get back protesting, I mean, bro, you got issues. There are few things more idiotic than yelling at the clouds because it's raining. I have some advice to these people. Build a bridge and get the fuck over it. P.S. If you don't want the same thing to happen to you, you buy a Tesla product and in the future it's cheaper, guess what? Don't buy a Tesla product, because overall, long term, the prices will continue to trend down with no end in sight. Seriously though, guys, the level of potato necessary to be that butthurt that you go and waste hours of your life that you cannot get back, cry more, you morons. Seriously. Like, seriously, how embarrassing. Can you imagine you're one of the people that goes and protests outside a showroom? Not only do you look like a butthurt baby, because you are, but you look like a brain-dead moron who doesn't value their own time. It's just unbelievable. Other manufacturers are also eyeing Musk's approach. Oh, imagine that. Hey, Elon, you're doing it wrong. Then why are other companies looking to replicate things we're doing, left, right, and center? As electric vehicle demand soars and established manufacturers chase after Tesla, automakers, including Ford and Volvo, are beginning to move toward more centralized control over EV sales and pricing. Ford, for example, changed the suggested retail price of its new electric pickup, the F-150 Lightning, 3 times last year. Quote, "You have to be able to reprice quickly," Ford CEO Jim Farley told reporters last month. "It's a competitive market and some brands are going to protect growth over profitability." The irony, by the way, is that Tesla, despite their price cuts, is still producing more money, more profit per vehicle sold than any large-scale automotive manufacturer on the planet. It's not a zero-sum game in Tesla's case. However, for Tesla's so-called competition producing electric vehicles who are already losing tens upon tens of thousands of dollars per electric vehicle sold today, for them to keep pace with Tesla on pricing and try to compete on pricing, unlike Tesla, who can still have industry-leading profit margins after repeated price cuts, their so-called competition is losing industry-leading losses per vehicle sold. Meaning if they compete with Tesla on pricing, they are massively amplifying their already unsustainable losses. And again, a reminder, this, as there are legitimate recession fears globally. This is the best possible thing that could happen for Tesla and the worst possible thing that could occur for Tesla's so-called competition, including legacy automotive and EV startups. Don't know how else to say it other than not going to end well for everyone other than Tesla. And I've got to give some credit to Bloomberg, formerly known as Doomberg. This is a fair and reasonable article for the mainstream media when discussing Tesla. Is the tide turning? Are they starting to get it? I'm so used to the chorus of, hey Tesla, you're doing it wrong. Everything you're doing differently to a traditional automotive manufacturer is automatically wrong, that I'm genuinely shocked to see a mainstream media outlet actually get it when it comes to any aspect of Tesla's business and how they do things, let alone their pricing strategy. Not only did Bloomberg acknowledge that Tesla dynamically adjusts pricing, but that they're doing so from a position of strength. Is the tide turning, or is this just going to be a one-off miracle before things get back to usual? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really do have to hand it to the 3 authors of this article on Bloomberg. If I didn't know any better, I think they've been taking their Athletic Greens AG1. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to athleticgreens.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going,
What do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect.
believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments.
Oh my god, snake oil salmon sold out. Oh my god, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But
constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.